it's going to be green light racing here at Monza. Here goes Noah. He's going to try and go wheel to wheel with the leader. Vic, once again, back on the top step. We did say take it easy. Oh my goodness. Sinead's going to go for it here into 14, 15. Side by side, is it going to be Mercedes or is it going to be a BMW?
Hello and welcome back to Phoenix Sim Sport for Season 16 of the TCR Championship. And today you join us for the final round of the season championship finale here at Barcelona. Round 10 of 10 and the championship has come down to this final round. We are currently about 4 minutes. Oh no, we're not quite into qualifying yet. We're almost into qualifying to get us started for this evening's on-track action. And everything hangs in the balance for two particular drivers in our championship. Marcel Miku and Christian Grzybowski are both vying for the championship here today, but one of them has a distinct advantage. At the moment, Marcel Miku stands on 584 points, while his nearest rival, Christian Grzybowski, stands in P2 with 504 points. That means there's an 80-point difference between these two, bearing in mind that a race win will get you 100 points this race, since it's the championship season finale, and you receive a double points for this race. It's not a double header, as we've done previously. It is just one race, but it is going to be a slightly longer one. It is 45 minutes of racing, preceded by 10 minutes of qualifying. And right here you can see our two championship protagonists or antagonists, whichever you prefer, whichever you're supporting, I guess, protagonist and antagonist, and vice versa, depending on who you're supporting. But we have our two championship contenders here, Christian Grzybowski in the Cupra and then Marcel Miku in the Civic. You can see just in the background through that rear window. Here we go. We've got our two championship contenders currently out on track, about to set their initial qualifying laps. Everyone's out of the pits except for Stavros Konstantinidis, very long surname, who's currently still in the pit box. He might be waiting for some clear air. And yeah, like I said, everything comes down to this race. 100 points on the line for a race win, which means for Marcel Miku to take the championship, he only needs to finish in P10 or above. Now, that will also only clinch in the championship, regardless of wherever Christian Grzybowski ends up. However, if he finishes in P11 and Christian wins the race, then he will lose the championship. That is the only way he can lose here today, is if he finishes outside that top 10. And considering we've got a 12-car grid today, that seems very, very unlikely. So the odds are all stacked in favour of Marcel Miku in this blue Civic. But it's racing. You never know what could happen right up until the final lap. Heck, right up until the final corner here at Barcelona. Turn 14, New Holland is of course that fast right-hander that could end up spitting you out if you just get the entry wrong ever so slightly. Just a tiny bit of overspeed. You hit that gravel trap and it could be game over. But as we've said, the difference between winning and losing here will be Marcel Miku on the line with P10. That's going to be the only way that he loses this championship today. Or if he gets massively taken out and he can't finish the race. So essentially for Miku, all he has to do is just keep it clean, finish within the top 10, and he's all sorted. Christian Grzybowski, though, he's got a lot to do. He's got to take the race win here, and considering the late season dominance of other certain drivers on the grid, including drivers such as Marcel Miku, that might be a task that is very, very tough to carry out today. I'm thinking in particular of a driver called Tesos Sklios, who is out today in the Renault Megane, currently down in P10. Can you believe it? He's got 6 race wins this season, more than anyone else, including Mr. Miku. And he has 8 podiums, falling just short of Christian Grzybowski's 9 podiums. All this only in 10 races. That, I believe, is the only reason why we don't see Tesos in the championship battle right now, is because he joined late, unfortunately. I think he missed the first 3 races and then missed another one at around 8. Which was at the Red Bull Ring, I believe. Either that or Okayama was one of those two. But here we go. To set a first proper lap time, Marcel Miku comes across the line with a 150.1. Taysar Sklias, as we were talking about earlier, very, very quick driver, a 151.2. I'm sure he's going to be pushing that Magan to get as much lap time out of it as possible. Christian Grzybowski just about to cross the line as well, coming around the final corner. And there you go. You've got your top 3 all set up now. Top 7 all set up now. Alex Romsix rounds out your top 7 with a 153.8. Now, we do, of course, have some other familiar names and some very unfamiliar names out on circuit tonight. Wiebe Narashto is one of the familiar names in the Audi. We've seen some incredible racing from him this season. Jeremy Kaz, I believe we've seen him once out on circuits. Let me just double check. Because tonight we had a load of late sign-ups. People wanted to get one last race in before the season ends, before Christmas hits. Yeah, I'm not seeing him on here, so I believe he is one of our new drivers. Vasilis Penetsis has always been there, the Audi with a heart for defensive driving, and a heart for Saverio Piazza in particular, who, funnily enough, is only 0.3 of a second behind in P7. So those two will meet on track for show at some point today. Alex Romsix in another Civic, currently P8, another new driver here today. Mr. Pouts in the Hyundai, I believe, is also new. Arthur Bellin is new, but in a slightly different way. He has been he's been one of the commentators alongside me for this season. And on the final one, he was like, yo, I want to race these cars, actually. I want to give this a go myself. And here he is, currently out on circuit, about to set his first lap time. So I get to roast him now for abandoning me in the comms box. That was the deal we had if he did do it. And yeah, straight into the pits he goes. P6 for him, a 152.680. Some other drivers making some laps. Leila Petragia, currently P11, going around the circuit as well, yet to set a lap time. And Stavros Konstantinidis, I've heard this name before somewhere. And yeah, the Cupra is still going round. P12, go on, get another race in, boy. So that means we have got 12 cars out on circuit at the moment. 11 have set lap times. Marcel Miku currently on pole with a 150.182. Taysar Sklias a 151.251. And Christian Grzybowski only 3 thousandths. No, sorry. Hundredths. Yeah, maths. 3 hundredths behind Taysar Sklias with a 151.281. It is 300 exactly. No other fancy numbers. And then the gaps are slightly larger. Half a second to Wiebe Narashto in P4. Vasilis Penetsis another 1.2 seconds behind. Alex Romsix, 0.3 of a second. Arthur Bellin, another 0.4. Jeremy Kaz, close to Arthur Bellin there for P7 and P8. And then it's a slightly larger jump to Saverio Piazza. And then a much larger one to Mr. Pouts in P10. So when it comes to the pace required from Marcel Miku to take the championship, I don't think he's going to have too tough a time at staying ahead of the majority of the grid. But it's going to start getting tough once he starts getting towards Saverio Piazza. Because, I mean, last week we saw one of the stoutest defences I've ever seen in my life over at Road America from both drivers, but particularly from Piazza. I mean, it's not often you get to take the race lead and try hold on to it. And he demonstrated some exceptional defensive driving. It's slightly aggressive, a little bit of argy-bargy here and there, maybe a little bit too much at times, but generally just good hard racing. And when I mean hard racing, I mean hard racing. It's to the likes of which you have not seen before. It's Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton 2016 vibes. Was it 2014 in Bahrain? Either way, it was massive. It was massive. Now, Taysar Sklias has managed... Oh, That's odd. Oh, he has managed to improve on his lap time. That's why it's a different lap time. Crazy. 150.757. So he's currently trying to close that gap to Marcel Miku. It is a full 9/10 ahead. So my maths from earlier was completely wrong. And then Christian Grzybowski still on a 151.281. Marcel Miku, good first sector, not so good second sector. Similar for Sklias. And then Christian Grzybowski, not too great a first sector, but of course he's got the second sector to make up for it, and he has improved it, but he's still 0.16 seconds behind. And there we go, Marcel Miku sets an even faster lap time, a 150.181. He's improved by 1,000th. Now that is the margin for a pole. And it could potentially be. Tesos Sklias about to come across the line as well. 4.6 seconds off. I'm assuming that's due to traffic. That is another factor we haven't really taken into account here, is how much traffic can affect your lap time. Because all it takes is one driver to just get in the way on your exit and, there it is. Your lap time's gone. And I think that might have been the case for a couple of these drivers in the initial laps at least. Or that final lap from Tesos Sklias. Christian Grzybowski managed to improve his lap time by about 0.4. He's now up to a 150.886. He's hot on the heels of Tesos Sklias. Marcel Miku still to complete one final lap of qualifying. Is it going to be another pole for him this season? I'm not sure. Anything can happen on the final lap. All I know is Wiebe Narashto, Arthur Bellin and Leila Petragia are not going to be on pole at the minute, all in the pit box. They've said, enough's enough, that's the best I can do for today. Or they might have pitted slightly earlier, either due to fuel issues or tyre issues, and then thought, not enough time to get out and do another lap, which is reasonable. Mr. Pouts, another one of the drivers to make a similar decision, 152.9 in P11. Marcel Miku now round the final corner. It's a pity we can't see the sector times, but I guess that just adds to the suspense. What will his final lap time of the day be? He has touched the grass on the exit, though that might slightly inconvenience the lap time, and it has crossed the line. He comes not quite able to hang on to that, a 150.8 for Tesos Sklias in the minute. If he can improve this, he could potentially take pole away from Marcel Miku, but it's going to have to be a massive improvement as he comes across the line. Still a 150.7. Christian Grzybowski, also similar story. It's going to require a very, very fast lap time. Yeah, unfortunately not able to improve at all. Vasilis Panetsis across the line as well. Alex Romsix also across. Stavros still to come across the line. Jeremy Kaz has finished. And that, ladies and gents, is qualifying complete for the final round this season. Round 10 of 10. Marcel Miku takes pole position with Tesos Sklias in P2 and P2 place in the championship. Christian Grzybowski in P3. Wiebe Narashto and Vasilis Panetsis round out your top 5. It is going to be a hot race right from the get-go because, of course, Christian Grzybowski is going to be chasing that race lead, and Marcel Miku is just going to try and keep it clean. I think that is going to be the main challenge for him today. But, of course, we all know how quick he is off the line. If he can just get a good start, and he's just got some decent space behind him, by the time they hit turn 1, he's going to be A-OK. For everyone else behind him, might be utter carnage, in which case, I'm not sure. Do we have a red flag policy? I'm not sure. If Maverick's watching, he'll let me know. So I can't quite confirm yet, but I'm assuming if we have the entire grid essentially wiped out, then we'll restart the race. That's typically the way these things go. But I mean, I'm definitely not hoping for anything like that because that would be absolutely horrific. Final race and we can't get a decent first race start. Yeah, we do. At the moment, if 50% of drivers crash, it is a red flag. And I'm assuming we don't get a second restart. For example, if the race, again, goes terribly off the start, if nothing happens, then, cool. But if something does happen, then we don't get a restart. So essentially, we're just hoping nothing happens. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. This is a very, very lovely angle. Right up there in the banister. That is a spectacular angle. We can see our top 4 on the grid here. Marcel Miku, Tesos Sklias and Christian Grzybowski, your top 3 for the championship. Weber Narashto also mixed in there. Max 2 starts and third start is a go-go no matter what. Confirmed from race control. As the 6 lights come on for the final time this season, it has been incredible to commentate for this over the last... how many has it been? 2 or 3 months? And here we go. The lights are on. And it's go time. 12 cars go roaring down to turn 1 to start. 45 minutes of racing. And once again, it's been a decent start for Marcel Miku. Right off the line, he's done really well to get ahead of the rest of the gang. Tesos Sklias comes in behind. Christian Grzybowski alongside as well. Oh, and I've missed the race start. Oh dear. There we go. Thank you for the update. There we go. We've not missed much though. There we go. Marcel Miku still in the race lead. Tesos Sklias P2 and then Christian Grzybowski in P3. Vasilis Penetsis managed to pick up a spot or 2. Weber Narashto down to P5. He's lost out the most here, but Stavros Konstantinidis has done very well to get up there, up into P6. I do apologise for the camera thingamajiggy. I knew there was going to be something that happens tonight to just throw it all away. But, I mean, we've not thrown it all away. We've still got another 44 minutes of racing to go. Marcel Miku on the entry to that corner has slightly lost some speed on Tesos Sklias, and he is looking very racy indeed, heading into the left-hander of turn 7. Turn 8 is quite tight, so it was going to be very ambitious to go for a move through there. But now you can see both camera angles. Vasilis Penetsis is very close to the rear end of Christian Grzybowski as well for P3. He could get mixed up into this battle very, very quickly. Weber Narashto also not too far behind. This top 5 has pulled away from the rest of the grid by about 2 seconds already, and we're not even through the first lap. That is how quick these guys in the top 5 are. Marcel Miku, he's managed to open up a small gap to Tesos Sklias, but it's still small enough that any error will be immediately punished. 0.5 seconds between them. Vasilis Penetsis, also half a second off Christian Grzybowski. A small gap blowing up between P2 and P3 at the moment, 0.7 seconds, as the drivers now make their way across the line for the first time this evening. And the closest gap does seem to be that of either Weber Narashto, well, I say either, Weber Narashto, Vasilis Penetsis and Christian Grzybowski, although Saverio Piazza and Jeremy Kaz are also fairly close together in P7 and P8. So right now, we've just gotten through the race start. Everyone's just trying to get into the groove, trying to get into a rhythm, get up to speed. And, well, in Christian Grzybowski's case, he's just trying to hang on to the rear end of Tesos Sklias and Marcel Miku and hope for a mistake from either of them so that he can take the race lead, because that is what he needs. That is his saving grace for this evening. Leila Petragia on the inside of turn 4 has just gained a position on Alex Romsix as well. Very standard overtake, textbook you could say. That's the closest action on track so far, but of course anything can happen at any point, so we keep our eyes glued to the screen. 8 minutes, whoa, 3 minutes into the race, 2 laps essentially. Marcel Miku leads, Tesos Sklias P2 and Christian Grzybowski P3. It is looking good for a championship win for that blue Civic driver. I've also had a request from Vito De asking in the Twitch chat, you can say hello to the team Auto Technica Motorsport. Good evening. I'm assuming you guys are watching the stream, or at least some of the members are watching the stream. Thank you so much for joining us on the championship finale of TCR. Oh, and I think there's also a great time to thank AC Friends for their sterling work on this mod, or multiple mods for the cars. They've been absolutely awesome. We've really enjoyed watching these cars go around multiple circuits, multiple races, and it's just been absolutely incredible to watch these guys race. Lalia Petragia and Alex Romsix now going head-to-head for P8 on the main straight. It's Toyota versus Honda. Is it Japanese? I think so. I'm not too good with my manufacturers. 2 Japanese cars going head-to-head It's Petragia with the inside line, but Rom6 does hold on to it. He's had some good momentum through there, but that, of course, will mean he's slow through the next right-hander of turn number 3. And on the exit, this could be the Civic's game to play. In the meantime, Mr. Pout is also sneaking up on both of them to potentially get involved here. To the inside goes the Civic, and the Toyota has gone very wide indeed, and that is the position gain for Petragia. Mr. Pout, half a second off both of them. All right, so here we go. This could pop off very, very quickly. Oh, sorry, it was Leila Petragia in the Toyota, not the Civic. Rom6 and the Civic going round at turn 4. The Toyota just about holding on to the limits of the tyre's grip. And Mr. Peltz has been unable to make any progress on either of them. He's actually dropped back by 1.2 seconds. I'm assuming there was some sort of driver error there. In the meantime, we've got Stavros also coming up on the rear end of Jeremy Kaz for P6. That could be another interesting battle to watch. But battle of the Audis, P4 and P5 between Vasilis Penetsis and Narashto is going to be great to observe as well at some stage this evening. I'm sure we're going to see something happen there. 0.4 seconds at the moment. We'll just keep an eye on all of these individual battles. And Marcel Miko is just racking up fastest lap after fastest lap up in the race lead. Oh, and here we go. We might have something happening here. Vasilis Penetsis and Weber Narashto on the main straight. That was one move from Penetsis to the inside. He's made one defensive move, pushed him back to the outside, opened up the corner for himself. Lovely bit of defensive driving, and he's done exactly what he could and exactly what he should have done to maintain that position. Vasilis Penetsis still P4. Weber Narashto still stuck in P5. Lovely bit of defensive driving from Penetsis, and we've seen some great defensive driving from him in the past, so it's no surprise really that he is excelling in this particular field of racecraft. Stavros Konstantinidis now right up on the rear end of Jeremy Kaz for P6. This could get interesting very, very quickly. We've not seen many Peugeots this season. I believe this might actually be the first time? Could it be the first time that we've seen a Peugeot out on circuits? I don't know, but all I know is they are very, very rare. Stavros Konstantinidis, though, he's looking very rare on the pace at the minute. 0.7 seconds and falling. He's made a few mistakes here and there, but overall, I believe his pace will be enough to catch up to Kaz at some point. Leila Petragia has dropped off of Alex Rom6 for P8 as well. Now 1.3 seconds behind. Weber Narashto also still within that half a second of Vasilis Penetsis. That's always going to be a battle to keep in mind, especially as they make their way now around that right-hander of turn number 12 through Bank Sabadell and now into formerly the chicane section. It's been a slightly lighter wind for Penetsis through there. I'm not sure how that will benefit his exit. Marcel Miko yet again fastest lap at 150.7. Here we go though on the main straight. Weber Narashto and Vasilis Penetsis. There is a definite pace advantage being behind the lead car due to a fracture cord slipstream. Weber Narashto using up all of it, and again good defensive driving from Penetsis. To the inside he goes, pushes him back out to the outside. It's just a clone of what happened earlier, and it looks like Stavros Konstantinidis did manage to get past Jeremy Kaz for P6 in the end. Looks like it was a move on the end of the main straight, turn 1. Good stuff from the Cupra to get past the Peugeot. Probably the only Peugeot we've seen this season, as we've said. And looking further down, Arthur Bellin is looking a bit lonely at the back of the grid. He was closing on Saverio Piazza. I'm assuming there was some sort of contact there, some sort of issue back there, but it seems to have resolved itself now. 1.6 seconds. Christian Grzybowski is another driver to keep an eye on. Currently 0.7 seconds off of Tesos Skilias for P2. And it might be dropping back just a smidge. Tesos Skilias being left in the dust by a very, very quick Marcel Miki tonight. Usually the pace difference between these three isn't particularly extreme, but tonight it does seem to be heavily weighed in Marcel Miki's favour. He's currently 3.6 seconds ahead of this duo of cars, and that gap is only growing. 0.7 seconds still between Grzybowski and Sklias. We've been Arashto and Vasilis Penetsis coming up on this main straight section again. Again, very similar scenario to the 2 laps before. Will there be any difference in the result though? 0.4 seconds and closing. Penetsis once again chooses the inside line. He's made his one defensive move. What can Arashto pull out the hat this time? Or will he just hang back? Oh, there it is. Goes for the dummy to the inside, but he's not close enough to make a move. He will have to hang back and wait for another opportunity at some point further down the line. Half a second between these two. And the gap between Marcel Miku and Tasos Sklias has closed down slightly. Just a smidge. I'm assuming there was some sort of driver error from Marcel Miku at some point through the circuit known as Circuit Barcelona de Catalunya. Is it? Yeah, it is. It is. I'm just getting confused with Valencia, because Valencia is the circuit that I'm very familiar with when it comes to championship finales. We used to do them loads on Assetto Corsa Competizione. But of course, it is amazing seeing a championship finale on Barcelona. It is just such a great track, and it's obviously seen some great action all across the board when it comes to racing series, and it's just a great track for testing as well. F1 uses it for testing. Formula E has used it for testing on occasion as well. And then of course you've just got the racing classes that race there as part of their championship. F1. Oh, hang on. Speaking of race classes, Alex Romsix in the Civic has made a move on Jeremy Kaz. Kaz is dropping slightly down the grid. Seems to be some sort of pace disadvantage here when it comes to the rest of the grid. I don't know whether that was just a polite way of saying he's a bit slow tonight. But either way, still in P8, still not too bad. Romsix goes up into P7 and he's going to chase down that Cupra ahead, and you can see the angle of rotation there from both cars, but particularly the Peugeot. The driving technique for these cars is insane, I have to say. They are difficult cars to drive due to their very understeery nature, being front-wheel drive and all. Here we go, Arthur Bellin, a fellow co-commentator, currently on the rear end of Saverio Piazza. We've seen Piazza's defending last round, and Arthur Bellin knows full well that this could go any which way. Heading into the braking zone, pulls out to the outside. Is it going to be a move made for P11? Not at the moment. He's going to hang back and wait for another opportunity. Piazza very, very quick through those first 2 corners, despite being on the defensive line. But yeah, as we were saying, different classes that race here. We've got Formula 1 that started back in 1991, which is when the circuit was constructed initially. So it's still quite a recent circuit, really, compared to some of the other circuits we have on the calendar. You then also have MotoGP. That's fairly popular around this circuit, starting with the Catalan Grand Prix in 1995. Then you've also got World Superbike, another bike racing championship that is hosted here on the odd occasion. DTM as well, and as we've mentioned, Formula E testing happens here every now and then. I'm not sure whether it's a permanent fixture on the testing rota, you could say, but I mean, I think you get the point. It's a great track for testing. It's a great track to just rock up and do some laps on, which is, I feel, quite the vibe for tonight. I think everyone's settled into their paces, and there is quite a variety of paces, but you get the drivers that are somewhat close, such as Kaz and Romsix, and Penetsis and Wiebe Narashto. Once again, Narashto to the outside. Oh, slight move under braking, but he's still around the outside. Is this going to be the time that we have a different result from before? Slight contact, and yes, there it is. Wiebe Narashto up into P4. He's finally managed to make that move. 7 seconds of Christian Grzybowski. It's a long way to catch up to the rear end of the podium finishes. It's going to be a long, hard slog, but with Penettis behind, I'm sure he'll be able to rest just a little easier, although he shouldn't be resting if he's racing, to be fair. It's not advised to fall asleep behind a racing car. It's not advised to fall asleep behind the wheel of any car, to be honest. but a racing car in particular, they do tend to be quite a bit faster, and a mistake in a race car is probably going to be more severe. The consequences would be more severe if you crash in a race car. I don't know. Although, to be fair, they do have some really good safety features. Let's see can we get an indoor shot of... No, can't quite get an indoor shot of these cars yet. We'll have to wait for the cameras to rotate round to it. You can see there's a net on the side that'll prevent any kind of large bits of debris coming through the side of the car. Not that there should be a gaping hole in the side of your car, but just in case, obviously. 5 and 6 point seat belts, they do make all the difference when it comes to keeping you in your seat. They don't have airbags, but I mean, yeah, I think at the pace that some of these accidents happen, you're not likely going to manage to program an airbag to go off quick enough for it. Plus, also, it's just not space for it in a race car. You want to save weight as much as you can. The airbag is probably one of the first things to go, to be honest. So I'm interested to hear, though, like, what do you guys think is more dangerous in a crash? Like, which would have more dire consequences most of the time? Like, speaking very, very generally, regular road cars, or would it be race cars? I think it also depends on the race classes, to be fair. Oh, there you go. Good interior shot there. So you can see that's a 6-point harness on the driver. He's got the net, and then, of course, the roll cage as well. There are various other safety features all over the car. It's splattered all over the car. It's not just around the driver itself. I mean, most of the time, the windows tend to be made out of plastic. But that's probably more for the weight, to be honest. Car probably has a strong either aluminium or carbon fiber chassis, depending on how rich the manufacturers are and how rich the customer is. And also, I guess, just what race series it is. We'll limit it to TCR, I reckon. We'll limit it to these cars since we can actually see these guys. Probably going to be an aluminium chassis. There you go. You can see it all absolutely like stripped out. You can see the fire extinguisher on the floor of the car as well. So yeah, loads and loads of safety features on a race car. It is a remarkable difference from the racing back in the 60s, where all you had to have was a little bathtub on 4 very skinny tyres and a V8 engine, and you were good to go. Smash it into a tree, it's just an occupational hazard. There's another lovely shot of the interior. You can see the roll cage there with a little bit of plastic foam for the driver's head, just in case he does bang it in an accident or is just generally a bit clumsy when getting into the car. I have to say, though, it is quite tricky to get into these cars. I've gotten into a similar car. It was a Fiesta, front-wheel drive, one of the Fiesta championship cars here in the UK, and it's yeah, some of those roll cages can be a bit funky to get into, but as long as you're sitting still, you're fine. As long as you're not thrashing around in your seatbelt, thrashing around in your seat, you'll be fine. Just watch your head on the entry and the exit. You'll only need to worry about that on driver changes, really. Pit stops, yeah, I don't know why you'd have to get out of the car on pit stops, but yeah, it's mostly just on entering and exiting the car. And probably in the case of an accident as well, probably better to have just that little extra layer of foam to protect your helmet. There we go, late lunge from Arthur Bellin into the left-hander of turn 5. Not quite got it done there, but he's applying some good pressure to Piazza again. He's caught up to the rear end of that red Civic ahead. Could this be a move in the next couple corners? I could potentially see a move shaping up into turn 10, the typical long straight into a hard braking zone, into a hairpin. That's a perfect overtaking zone if you ask me. Otherwise, turn 1 might be the best bet so far. We'll also keep an eye on Christian Grzybowski, 0.6 seconds off of Tasos Sklia. So we shouldn't forget the championship battle at stake here. Marcel Miku in the race lead, looking very comfortable. Christian Grzybowski not looking too comfortable in P3. He is sweating probably. And we're approaching the halfway point, another 5 minutes or so, when we'll have hit our midpoints for this race. And so far, it looks as though Marcel Miki will take the championship fairly comfortably. If you weren't here for the start of the race, he just needs to finish in the top 10, and he's got the championship in the bag. For Grzebowski to win, he needs to take the race win, and Marcel Miki needs to finish in P11, at least, or not finish the race. That is what's at stake for Grzebowski. What's at stake for Bellin, though, is P11. He's just taken that away from Piazza. It was a long time coming, and he's managed to get it done and dusted before the 25th minute of the race remaining. Job done. It's an easy overtake for the Hyundai. There's also all the funky ways you could say Hyundai. Hyundai, you could say Hyundai. Then you could say it in a Scottish accent, you could say it in an Indian accent. But I wouldn't attempt either. Although, to be fair, Hyundai sounds very close to what I said earlier. So, I mean, Hyundai. I don't know. Or what if they went the other way and said Hyundai? To be honest, that actually just sounds like a Japanese person just saying it, just like it's their regular car. But anyways, accents accents notwithstanding, I believe is the correct terminology. We can have a look at what Lone Maverick has to say on whether road cars or race cars are more dangerous in an accident. Regular road car. Race cars have such awesome safety features, drivers can survive huge G-loads. Yeah, agreed. Oh, and Alex Romsix has just popped up a position in the Civic. There he goes. Stavros Konstantinidis had a terrible run out of that final corner, which means Jeremy Kaz has got an opportunity in the next couple of corners as long as that pace difference remains. But once they get out of turn 3, I believe that difference is going to evaporate unless he's gone straight on. Here comes Kaz. Stavros loses out on P7 due to a simple mistake right at the start. It might have left some remnants of grit on his tyres, and as a result he's just locked up into turn 1. It's also he's just at such a different pace going into that corner compared to his usual pace, and as a result he's just not quite used to where his braking point should be, and as a result might have locked up and gone straight ahead, because yes, these cars do not have ABS, as you can tell from the massive amount of tyre smoke that are being generated right now. Now, looking a little further back, we have got a lovely three-way battle here developing for P10. Arthur Bellin and Leila Petragia going head-to-head for P10 with Saverio Piazza also in the mix. The Civic now round the outside of Petragia into turn number 7. It's going to get slightly gritty through here. Holds back just a smidge. Might get the exit through here, though, on the inside for turn 9. I think not, but Petragia is going defensive into that corner to hold off the Civic. In the meantime, Arthur Bellin just says, thank you very much. Well, you guys scrap. I'll just build up a small lead. Half a second between those two, but Petragia and Piazza are now side by side heading into turn 10, the most popular overtaking corner on the circuit. And it is Piazza who comes out ahead. Petragia down to P12, Arthur Bellin up to P10, and Piazza left in P11. I'm not sure where he started in this scrap. It was probably P11 to be fair, so he's just stayed where he is. Petragia being shuffled out by two drivers, and Bellin just making slow progress up the grid, slowly working his way back up into the top 10. The next car is a whole 10.5 seconds ahead, but considering his recent pace, that could be a potential position by the end of, I would say, another 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes, depending on how Mr. Pouts picks up the pace, if he does at all. Heading into turn 1, it is a slightly defensive line from the Civic, although it could just be Petragia not choosing to make any attempt at an overtake yet, going slightly wider to optimize his exit through turn 3. He does end up going slightly wider though, and that might be the opportunity gone. Miss Midnight Bloom has not managed to hold on to P11, at least for the time being, but there is many an opportunity still ahead. 0.2 seconds between these two guys. Still into the left-hander we go. It was a look to the inside. The Civic slightly put off by that slightly wider exit compared to the usual. And Billin not quite managing to shed the layer of Civic and Toyota in his rearview mirrors, still only half a second ahead of these two. Petragia dropping back just a smidge. And Marcel Mekiu, goodness, how many fast laps do you need? He's currently on a 150.4 and he just keeps getting faster and faster and faster in the race lead at the moment. 4.4 seconds clear of the nearest driver. Here we go though, Petragia to the inside of turn 10, going for a move, and the Civic again just judges that distance perfectly and maintains P11. I thought this battle was over quite a while ago, but Petragia is doing a very good job at returning to it time and time again. Round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. I'm not sure when round 6 is going to occur, whether it will occur at the end of this massive straight down to turn 1. I have no clue. It's all up in the air at the moment. The gap is closer between Christian Grzybowski and Tasos Sklias for P2 at the minute than it is between Petragia and Piazza. So we'll keep an eye on these two for the time being. Sklias still going at it, 4.6 seconds behind the race leader. Grzybowski 0.6 seconds. Now, one thing we have to consider as well is fuel calculations. And fuel calculations, and of themselves will take tyre degradation into account. Now, of course, if you know a little bit about Formula One and Barcelona, you'll know that this circuit has an unusually high tyre degradation. So I'm thinking we could potentially be approaching the point at which drivers might be considering some pit stops. Unlikely that anyone will come to the pits unless they've had a shocker of a race and it'll only help them by going into the pits. But at the moment, I don't see anyone really with a big enough gap to afford a pit stop. The car currently in the pits is mine. Don't worry about that. That's so that I can actually watch the race. Because apparently to attend a race and broadcast it and be in the commentary box at an Assetto Corsa race, you have to rock up with your own race car. Fortunately, that's not the way it works in real life. Although, to be fair, that would be cool, though. Like, you have to rock up in your own race car. I mean, probably some of the commentators do, but, I mean, most of us, like, I think we don't really mind too much what we rock up in, unless it's a really high-end, like, motorsport event. Like, F1, you know, Crofty's going to rock up in his Mercedes or whatever. But then again, I say Mercedes, it could be any. It could be a C-Class, it could be an A-Class, it could be an A45, it could be an SLS, it could be an AMG GT, could be a 1, such as George Russell's Mercedes. It could be anything. It could be a delivery van. I did see a meme about that recently. I tell the ladies I drive a Mercedes and it ends up being a massive white van. So that counts as a Mercedes, right? I mean, you could pack all your broadcasting equipment in the back. Pros and cons of rocking up to a race in a van. In Max Verstappen's case, you could probably put your sim racing rig in there. You could probably even drive it while you're making your way to the racetrack. But then again, I'm not sure they would be driving a white van all the way from the Milton Keynes headquarters in the UK to a place like Indonesia or Singapore actually for the Singapore GP. It's not quite a very practical thing to do. But if they have private jets, then they could have some sim racing rigs on that as well. And if the pilots are really, really good, you could have full motion. But that's if the pilots are really good. Otherwise, you could have full motion and a private jet. Try it that way. G-forces might get a bit funky when you try and sit in it when you try and land the aircraft. But I mean, as long as you've got a pair of seatbelts, you'll be fine. Like, I think that is the only requirement really for being on a seat other than the passenger seat or the driver's seat in a car or van while it's moving. Pickup trucks, lorries. I mean, pickup trucks, you've got a huge trunk. I'm assuming you'd also need a seatbelt for that. I'm just rambling at this point. Apologies. But I mean, this is very important stuff to think about. You know, it is very important to consider future prospects. You know, for any upcoming racing drivers and sim racers who might be interested in just spicing up their life when rocking up to the racetrack, you know. To get back to our earlier discussion of road car versus race car, road safety, racetrack safety. I think it also depends a lot on the context and the environment, because of course on a racetrack you've got loads of Armco barriers, you've got runoff areas, and when you're just driving a regular car on the road, well, even that changes from day to day. You know, if you're in the suburbs, you'll have a nice low garden wall to take out your suspension, potholes to contend with as well. Conditions will probably be a lot worse on a normal road than on a racetrack. I don't know though. Again, so many variables to consider. Someone should do I'm sure someone's done a scientific study somewhere, but we might have to conduct one ourselves. And maybe if someone does end up doing one, do let me know. I'd be interested to see the results. You could maybe break it down into all these different categories of brakes, which obviously in a race car it would win. But then again, it needs to be up to temperature for it to work properly. The brakes could get glazed, in which case it's not very fun. They are very loud as well, so maybe balancing cost versus effectiveness and practicality. Bring all of that into the game. It's going to be a massive study though. So whoever does do it, you're going to need a team. You're going to need a lot of people on hand to help with that. You're going to need a lot of researchers to help you with that. Now, Konstantinidis, he has had a slightly less than ideal race so far, having started fairly high up and then dropped, and then being overtaken by both Kaz and Rom6, and now he's on a resurgence, 0.7 seconds to Kaz ahead in the Peugeot. And this purple Cupra has got a few tricks up his sleeve and a load of safety features on the inside of the car. I'm just going to notice that every time we go to the interior cam now. Every time I'm going to go, oh, safety features. Not very safe corner there, Mr. Kaz. Heading out of turn 8, it's been a lovely run for the Cupra. Dives to the apex for turn 9. Not quite an ideal overtaking spot, but it is an opportunity nonetheless. Jeremy Kaz just about hanging on in there on the defensive line for turn 10 though. Very nice defensive driving there on the exit of that corner, but unfortunately there is nothing he can do when the Cupra brakes just that tad bit later around the outside of turn 10. It is a slightly wider corner, so you can afford to hold on to a bit more momentum than you are otherwise used to. So, I've also just gotten a comment from Faithless Emo Racing in the Twitch chat asking, do we do a LMU league? Yes, we do. Ia Johnson has also just piped up, yup. I believe that runs on Saturdays. There is also I think it's a LMP2 class race on Thursday evenings that runs alongside Tatus. Well, I say alongside, pretty much at the same time. They overlap. We also do Assetto Corsa Competizione leagues. So there's a bit of racing for everyone, really. We do also do F1 racing, but that is on Assetto Corsa, not F1 25, unfortunately. Although, to be fair, I do have F1 25, and I mean, you could start an F1 racing league, but to be honest, I would much rather prefer doing it on Assetto Corsa, because this broadcasting software is absolutely amazing. Like, I think I just want to do Assetto Corsa broadcasting for the rest of my life now. Although, to be fair, LMU is quite good as well. Their HTML page is quite good. So yeah, Johnson asking, wait, is there a race at the same time as Tatus? I think so. Let me confirm. Maverick is probably he's probably the man to ask. But if you go on our SimGrid, we do have a SimGrid page, and also join the Discord server. You'll be able to find all the information on there. I don't know why I closed my SimGrid for Phoenix SimSport. It's very, very odd. And it's really odd I don't have it on my phone in the first place as well. I usually have a second laptop to my disposal, but not tonight, so I'm having to use my phone for this. So Tatus is on Thursday evenings, MX5 and TCR. That is all our Assetto Corsa the leagues. We then have the ACC Challenge at 3 p.m. on Saturdays. That's 3 p.m. GMT. And then we have the Le Mans Proving Ground every Saturday, 8 o'clock on Saturday evenings as well. Season 16 Phoenix Le Mans Series, 8 p.m. on Saturday as well. Formula Alpha Challenge, that's the F1 I was talking about as well. That's on Sundays, 7 p.m. An IndyCar Challenge, which I don't know about, 10 p.m. on Sundays. And then Season 17, we do have some championships shaping up very, very nicely. Maverick saying no, only Tatis on Thursday. I think the LMP2 was there only briefly, I think, when I just started, and that was more of like a proof of concept kind of thing. Yeah, apologies if I induced any panic there. I think, Johnson, the only thing you're missing out on, mate, is the TCR racing. I think you are missing out on something. Yeah, you are missing out on something massive. You're missing out on the TCR racing, unless you enjoy watching it more than you do racing it. Because I'm sure there are many a person who would much rather be on the broadcast side of it, the TV screen side, as opposed to in the cockpit of the car. Because these cars are tough to drive. We've heard many a criticism, particularly from this man in the blue Civic, who claims to have so many issues with the cars and he can't quite get the setup right. It's not quite handling as he wants to, yet he is still an absolute missile around any track, around any car. In any car, I should say. As you can see, 6.3 seconds. The standings at the moment prove my point. 6.3 seconds ahead of the grid. He is absolutely running away with it. His championship standing chances looking very, very good. Now, I think it is also to be noted that apparently he has lost out very narrowly on two other championships that he won last season, namely Tatus and MX5. They concluded yesterday and earlier this evening, and by the sounds of it, unfortunately, Miku just missed out on taking the championship wins in both of those. So TCR is hopefully a welcome kind of win for him. Yeah, as long as he finishes his race, finishes in the top 10, he'll be fine. It should be a bit easier now. We've lost a driver. I'm not quite sure who that was. We've still got Petragia. Is that Piazza we're missing? I think Piazza has retired from the race. So that leaves us with only 11 cars. So essentially, for Miku to lose this championship, like, he's going to need to finish in dead last or retire, and Grzebowski is going to need to win, who is 3 seconds behind Tesos Klias, arguably one of the fastest drivers this season, but unfortunately not at Barcelona. It does seem to be in Marcel Miku's favour this evening, 6.3 seconds ahead of the grid, even with that little mistake on the exit of turn 14. Johnson saying, I didn't miss out, man. Taco Fridays are much, much better. I mean, fair enough. You do you, mate. Whatever floats your boat. Although, to be fair, I could kill for a taco. Although, isn't it usually Taco Tuesdays, though? I mean, I think Era do Taco Tuesdays. That's where I know it from. But Taco Fridays, I mean, I'm down for a taco any day of the week if you ask me. You know, as long as it's a good taco, it'll go down a treat. Breakfast, dinner, lunch, whichever. If it's a snack, I could have one as a snack as well. That could be another interesting point of discussion. How big should your snack be? Particularly as a racing driver. I've met a few guys who, you meet a racing driver and you can just tell by their body proportions and just, I don't know, there's something about drivers and having to limit their body weight that just kind of, I could never do. I just enjoy food too much, and I think that is an excuse that many of us sim racers use at the moment. But although excuses, to be honest, it's just another factor that will mean it makes it a bit more difficult to race in a real life racing series. But yeah, how big can a snack be? I mean, a taco can be fairly large. Then again, a snack could be an apple. You know the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. You can have a Monster. That's a particular favourite snack of mine. Also, does it have to be solid, or could it be a liquid? Oh, could a cup of coffee count as a snack? I'm interested to hear the opinions. Ian Johnson also saying, and either way, I can't drive a TCR to save my life. Which is fair enough, yeah. I mean, we do this racing to enjoy it. You're supposed to have fun when you're racing, and if you're not enjoying trying to learn a particular car or drive a particular car, and you don't have the time to learn it, yeah, I can imagine why it would be slightly less than optimal for many people. But I think there is also that thin line of not driving because you're gonna suck and you just want to win, or whether you're going to challenge yourself and do something you've not done before and go into a race series in a car that you know you struggle with so that you can improve yourself. I think there's that aspect of it as well. Because, yeah, you're never going to get better unless you do something difficult, I'm not saying never, but you improve a whole lot faster as a driver if you do race different cars and you challenge yourself in cars that you find tricky to drive. But I appreciate not everyone's got that mindset though, and it can be a slightly annoying mindset to have as well for some people. And then again, like I said, some cars are just genuinely difficult to drive. Some cars genuinely are just terrible to drive, which is probably the case for the TCRs, to be fair. Hence maybe the lack of enthusiasm when it comes to getting a racing seat in the championship at the moment. Hellcat AXT asked, what monster though? Oh, question of the century. As far as I know, there is probably one very right answer and then a variety of wrong answers. The right answer is White Monster. But then again, you can't just have one flavour. You've got so many different varieties, so you have to you can't just say a singular one. I would probably limit it to a top 3, top 5 maybe. I'd probably go White Monster and then just regular. I'm one of those guys that's just a default. Like, I like default stuff. Vanilla ice cream, sign me up. Salt vinegar chips, now just take salt. So you can judge me on the regular one if you want. That's my taste. Although I would go for the sugar-free version though, so I don't have to struggle with that. And then P3, it's tough. It's really close between Ultra Paradise, which is the green one. It kind of reminds me of those apple flavored lollipops. Much better than the black ones with a big red apple and the lady staring at you maliciously. And then it's a close one between the green one and then the pink Strawberry Dreams. A colleague of mine is particularly into his Strawberry Dream monsters. He got me onto one of them, and yeah, I had a 4-pack the other day over a race weekend, and the race weekend went very well. So I don't know whether that was purely due to the fact that I had a regular monster, or just monster, or all that particular flavour. I don't know. I did have a couple mega whites as well, and a Lando Norris one. Lando Norris isn't too bad, but it's not my favourite flavour. It's almost like the 46. It's almost like the Valentino Rossi one when it comes to the citrusy flavour. When it comes to citrus, though, Aussie Lemonade is right up there. Aussie Lemonade, I think it is quite an acquired taste, Hellcat. So, I mean, fair enough, though. Like, if you can have Aussie Lemonade as a favourite, like, mate, go for it. What is your top 3, though? Like, you can't just have one. There's probably going to be a couple other flavours, though, right? And also, if you're a Red Bull fan, I wouldn't quite say welcome, but I would say you are tolerated. No, I'm joking. We love all energy drink addicts, all coffee addicts, all racing addicts, all speed addicts. Maybe not alcohol addicts or drug addicts, but we'll see if we can make a couple of exceptions depending on who you are. I think I'm properly. I'm like, my yapping has gone to the next level here, and we'll try bringing it right back down to this racetrack known as Barcelona, the 4.6 kilometre long circuit with 16 medium to high speed corners, as our drivers now make their way around the track for probably the penultimate time this evening. And can you believe it? Yes, we have 1 minute to go in the final round of the Season 16 TCR Championship here at Phoenix Sim Sports. And it is looking good for Mr. Marcel Miku, currently in the race lead. He has got the championship almost under wraps. He just needs to finish this race in P10 or above. P1, yeah, it'll do all right, I think. It should be enough to get the job done. Christian Kazmowski's nearest contender is 10 seconds down the road, probably increasing to about 11 seconds by the end of the race if Marcel Miku's pace continues at the rate it has this evening. He's just got set fastest lap after fastest lap all evening long, so it shouldn't be too much of a challenge from Alex Romsix. Closing on Vasilis Penetsis for P5. We did not see this coming. Final lap duel between these two for P5, the final top 5 position. I know Mavericks here has just pricked up at the words P5 because he did apparently finish in P5 in the MX5 Cup. Continuing his all-time tradition, his lifelong tradition of finishing in the top 5, both in the races and in the championships for whichever championship he participates in, not just MX5. But here we go then, for the crown of P5 versus Penetsis and Alex Romsix going head-to-head. Penetsis, his usual defensive line to the inside. He goes, tries to squeeze the Civic to the outside, opening up the circuit for himself. A little bit of contact, but that hasn't hurt anybody. Into the braking zone we go, but that Civic has got some decent momentum. Contact again, almost onto the grass for the Audi, but he has managed to keep that car alongside and come out ahead. Alex Romsix, you'll have to try yet again on the inside now for the next corner, turn 4. Woo! That was a very defensive drive from Penetsis. That was a very persistent line from the Audi driver. Romsix now to the inside for the next corner. He's trying to get these cutbacks done, but Penetsis is just closing him down every single time. To the inside they go. Oh, Penetsis has almost lost it. Was there contact there? I don't know. All I know is Romsix is now ahead, and Stavros has now closed the gap up in P7. He's half a second off of Vasilis Penetsis, falling at the final hurdle. Hopefully not for Penetsis, but one driver who is managing to overcome the final hurdle for the championship race win is Marcel Miku. He wins the final round of the Season 16 TCR Championship and is your new TCR champion for 2025 Season 16. He is your new TCR champion. It's been a long time coming. It's been an all-season long run for Marcel Miku to get this wrapped up, but he has finally done it here in Barcelona, and his nearest championship rival, Christian Kazmowski, comes across the line in P3. It's been a valiant effort for the Cupra driver, but unfortunately he just couldn't quite get those results as consistent as he might have wanted to take the championship win this season. And Tesos Klias is also worth a mention, coming in a little bit later on in the season and making a huge dent in Marcel Miku's confidence and race results this season. As you heard earlier, 6 race wins for Sklias this season as opposed to only 3 and now 4 for Miku. I'm sure we will see Sklias again next season to challenge for some significant points and potentially the championship win. Take on the existing champion. Unfortunately, Penka wasn't here this season to defend his title as the defending and reigning champion of TCR here at Phoenix Sim Sports. But hey ho, I think Miku is he's going to be more than happy with that, especially considering his recent efforts in MX5 and Tatas. Here we go, Leila Petragia, last driver to cross the line for TCR for Season 16 and for 2025 here at Phoenix Sim Sport. You can see everyone parked up all across the circuit. I think everyone's fairly relieved to get this final race out of the way. I have to say it hasn't been the most action-packed, but I hope it has been entertaining. We've talked about safety features on cars. We've talked about Monster, very important topic. What else did we talk about? Other racing categories in Phoenix Sim Sport, not just here at Barcelona, although we did cover that as well. Yeah, we've had quite a variety of topics addressed tonight, but of course the main one will be the championship win for Marcel Miku, as we have driver join us in the commentary box, Arthur Bellin, a veteran of this box, you could say, as a fellow co-commentator. How was it out there tonight, Arthur?
Horrible. I never want to drive front wheel drive again. The start, I thought I had it. No, I stalled the car, lose all my positions, then my wheel didn't want to shift anymore. So 9 seconds lost in last place. At least I had a short, good battle with, I think, Piazza and Petralia. And then I got close to Mr. Pouts, I think, at the end, but not close enough, man. But what a race.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you just drive out there to have fun. But I mean, judging by your initial reaction, though, I'm not quite sure fun was the right word for your experience tonight.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, we were literally just talking about that in the chat, weren't we? We were talking about TCR as a car to drive. And I think the general consensus was, not many people do enjoy driving TCR, hence maybe the lapse in popularity. But I don't know. I think it could be fun if you have the... I don't know. I think it's one of those cars you just need to know how to drive quick and you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, near the end, I got a bit consistent. I moved my brake bias all the way back to the rear, which kind of helped me. But still, I don't get how some of these guys have all that pace. It's insane. I have no feel in the front tires. For me it's horrible. I think for others it's perfect. But yeah, what a race! I assume Marcel got that championship in the end.
Oh yeah, as a race winner for round 10, that will put him firmly ahead of Christian Grzebowski. Probably well ahead now. So even if there was a round 11. He would still win the championship.
Yeah.
Christian Grzebowski came across the line in P3, and as far as I know, the race start looked pretty clean. There wasn't much contact made. Christian Grzebowski didn't do too crazily. He didn't kind of crash into anyone or make any contact. Not that he usually does. But you can't rule out anything. So I think it is quite a straightforward championship victory for Marcel Miku tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, full congratulations to him.
Absolutely, and hopefully next season he gets a car that he actually likes.
Yeah, exactly. I just know, even if I get paid to drive these cars, I won't do it, man. Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I am prototypes, GTs, open wheelers. I used to like them a lot. It's not really that much my cup of tea anymore, but front wheel drive. Oh, no, thank you. All wheel drive, if it's a rally car on dirt or gravel, alright, but front wheel drive on a track. No,
how about front wheel drive on a rally track? Maybe. If you get paid, you will.
Possibly.
Potentially. I mean, to be fair, though, it does sound like quite a consistent thing. Even Marcel Miku, who's been dominating this season, doing very well. All we've heard is complaints about the setup so far, which, I mean, to be fair, I can understand it as well. Everyone seems to struggle with the understeer, except actually for those really quick guys, Tradition Sim Sports, who joined us a couple times. Sebastian Schoenfeld. That lot, they seem to quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, once you know how to drive it, again, as I've said earlier, if you know how to drive it, you're going to enjoy it. Because you'll be quick. And they certainly were.
Surprised that nobody else came to the post-race interview. I thought it was customary, but...
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think people are too scared to be locked in a comms box with me alone. When you're here, that's all fine. I don't know whether they know that you're here. They're probably all scared to bits that they'd have to potentially hazard a solo interview with me. But yeah, I was also expecting Miku to be in there. I mean, Arashto is also in the AC paddock. I mean, maybe they're looking at some post-race clips. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, there wasn't too much action anywhere else on circuit. It was quite a boring race from our perspective, really. There wasn't too
I
much going on.
hope you got the overtake I had on Piazza, because that was something. Because I nearly
yeah.
had him before, but I mean, into turn 1, again, no shifting. I was stuck in 6th gear.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
Fanatec at times, quality control is not their best thing. No offense.
I'm a Moser myself, so can't relate.
Yeah.
Can't relate.
Well, I mean,
Not
I recently did get some new hardware for the sim, but it only arrives second week of January, so
Ooh.
I have to wait for that.
I mean,
I mean, not
late
really
Christmas
anything
present.
to drive with. It's a dashboard, but
Oh, I mean, dashboard is still pretty sick though.
I wanted, so at least I didn't have to pay for it. I look at it that way.
Yeah, nah, that's fair enough. Maverick joins us in the commentary box. He didn't participate in the race today, but he was very active in the voice chat, hence where you might know him from. Or, if you know him from anywhere else, the man that finished in P5 and the MX5 for about 6 years running.
I mean, I
welcome.
have to, I have to keep up traditions, Yep, it is, after all, a bit of a meme at this point. So, yeah, we have to keep going with that. Yeah, please bear with me just a moment, and we'll move some people up for interview.
Cool, sounds good. So hopefully we can have a word with Marcel Miku here, whether he ever intends on driving a TCR again, because after about 2 seasons, I can imagine that must be a bit of a mixed bag. And here he is, Marcel Miku comes to the voice chat. Welcome, sir. Congratulations on the championship.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a pretty good one, this final.
Oh, yeah. That last race was phenomenal. Is that kind of the performance you were kind of looking for throughout earlier of the season, like the early bits of the season? Is that what you wanted, that kind of dominance?
In a way, yeah. I mean, at the start, I didn't really know how to exactly set up the car. I just stuck with my gut instinct of how I have been setting up cars. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off. So, towards Tokiyama, I decided, you know what, it's time to change this.
Yeah.
So I reverted, and since then, things have been proven quite stable. And of course, today I also tested a entirely new modification that I tried, or a different part of a setup.
Interesting. Which part in particular?
It was something to do with tail angles.
Ah, gotcha. So did that help with rotation then?
Yeah, I felt like it helped a bit.
Awesome. So, I mean, now that you've maybe kind of got an idea of how to do the setup, do you reckon you'll come back next season to defend your championship and perfect this setup on the Civic, or will you come back next season and try something else? Will you come back at all?
I think I'm sticking with the Civic for the time being.
Cool.
I think I've got a good feel for the car. The setup feels nice and stable. Maybe a few more tweaks there and there should be able to have it perfected. But yeah, next season I will be sticking in the Civic for the time being.
Excellent. That's great to hear. I mean, have you had any kind of regrets choosing the Civic this season? I mean, I've obviously over the last couple weeks and months, we've heard some mixed reviews concerning the setup and the Civic. All in all, are you quite happy with your choice for the car this season and your performance so far this season as well?
I mean, to be honest, I never really complained about me choosing the Civic. It was just me having a skill issue on the setup, really.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything vehicle related. Like, at the time, the Civic, it wasn't exactly like preference. Well, it was maybe somewhat preferential to maybe try a Japanese car. And yeah, it was just a skill issue, really. That was really my downfall for the early parts of the run.
Gotcha. But I mean, at least
The car felt fine. It was just the setup was just a big skill issue.
And now that you've got that done, it should be a bit more enjoyable to drive next season then.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, since Okayama, the car's been feeling quite stable, and even though I did lose to Scalia stat in those 2 races, I still counted it as a victory because previously I wasn't really able to keep up with him. But that time in Okayama, I was actually able to keep up with him and even close him on some occasions. Whereas in the runs prior, I couldn't really do that because the setup, I was just suffering from a skill issue.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was fortunate then that Sklias only turned up halfway through the season. Then, do you reckon the championship would have gone slightly differently if he'd been there for the first 4 or 5 races?
I think it'd be hard to pin it exactly, but of course it would have depended on how he had his car set up and all that. I think it may have probably influenced the outcome, but at the same time, I'm not someone that can go back to the past and redo the exact scenario. So
Yeah.
I would
Well-
say there may have been influence, but whether it would have been enough to affect the title, I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, fair enough. Do you see him as a championship rival though, alongside Christian Grzybowski?
Well, in those 2, definitely, but then of course it also depends on who else will be coming in for the new series coming in.
Yeah, because of course we have.
Grzybowski and Skilias, they're definitely going to be rivals, but then there's also HCE, he's proven to be quick,
Yeah.
and then there might be new faces coming in.
Exactly. And there could also be some of the Tradition Sim Sports guys coming along every now and then, as they've done earlier this season. But I don't know. Do we know whether we'll have a solid sign up from Tradition? I don't know.
I mean, I know in terms of the TSR guys, I mean, so far only one of them has really been, or 2 of them have been capable. As in, they were like pretty much on my level. Of course, I'm not sure how they would fare now that I have the improvement.
Oh.
But if they
Yeah,
do show
true.
up, then I am looking forward to seeing more challengers coming in and seeing the challenge coming in.
Yeah. I mean, it did seem like a bit more of a challenge this season, towards the end, especially compared to before when you were only racing Penka pretty much. And this time you managed to take the championship with quite a large lead this time, as opposed to just losing out last season and also just losing out on Tartas MX5 this season as well. So
I mean, last series with Penka, like that one, I think I was still suffering from the skill issue at the time. I just didn't know how to set up the Hyundai correctly.
yeah.
I just went with what my gut was telling me, and unfortunately, I just ended up falling short. Pretty
Yeah.
sure, like, had I known how to set up the car properly, then perhaps. But then, of course, the cars weren't exactly the most stable. The BIP wasn't exactly on point.
Yeah.
Of course, last season there were only 3 cars available: the Hyundai, the Cupra, and the Audi. And it turned out the Hyundai was actually the fastest at the time. And it was only like round 8 or 9, I think, that BOP was being introduced. As like a cost-effective measure. It of course didn't work. Well, I say it didn't work. It worked somewhat, but it just didn't deliver enough of a result to really confirm it. And then, of course, we got the ACS for this series, where we got some extra cars coming in, expanding the roster. Peugeot, Renault, Toyota, and the Civic.
Yeah.
And, of course, with BIP as well, so they were all pretty much on par with each other.
Yeah, it has been good to see the variety of cars and kind of everyone being somewhat close together this season.
Yeah. And I would like
Certainly.
to give a shout out to them anyway for providing the vehicle.
Yeah, AC Friends, you guys have been absolute legends in providing us with these mods. They've been absolutely incredible. Take this as a 5-star review from me. I don't know what you gentlemen would rate it out of 5. I'm assuming somewhere high.
Well, I mean, it depends on your rating. You might have the 0 to 5, the 1 to 10.
Probably 0 to 5. Yeah, we'll keep it simple, basic.
Oh, I'll actually go 0 to 10. I'd say I'd give it. It'd be a tough one. I'd probably go maybe somewhere around 9.5, maybe somewhere like that.
Nice.
I'd probably go maybe a bit higher. Like, I could quibble at a few things, but overall the quality has been solid,
Yeah.
and overall the cars felt very capable. Of course, it was just a skill issue, so that doesn't really have any major impact on the overall rating.
And they looked
But
good.
overall, the cars felt quite stable. The cars felt quite good, maybe a bit slippy, but then again, this is front wheel drive we're talking about. They do tend to slip quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's probably conventional with pretty much all front wheel drives, that they just like to get that slip into corners.
Yeah, it is pretty much the technique that you need to drive these cars fast, isn't it?
Yeah. And try to control it in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I would say it is definitely a challenge driving them for the first time. But once you get used to it and you start looking at the setup and all that, provided you set it up correctly and not like me, where you just get awful amounts of slip and suspension eager to kill you at every bump and opportunity it gets, then it's gonna be a brilliant weapon to drive for
Yeah.
any course out there.
Yeah. So a lot of this kind of racing does come down to setup, and then understanding how all of that works and how all of that translates to your driving style.
Yeah.
Awesome, Arthur. Any final questions? I'm aware of the time. We have been going on for quite a bit, but it is the season finale, so I think we're allowed extra time. But yeah, Arthur, any final questions? Or just regular questions? They don't have to be final ones.
We've got nothing for the time being. Arthur, are you there?
My bad, my mic was muted on my headset. No, congratulations on the championship. I don't know how you are able to go that fast with these cars, even if I think I have enough practice. It would not be enough. But yeah.
I think what really helped there was the transition period between the high fuel and low fuel weight, because of course when you have loads of fuel, the car's quite heavy, so it does require, you do have to drive it a bit differently than on the quali. But around midway through, the transition period came where all of a sudden I just suddenly felt a lot quicker, because the car all of a sudden felt a lot lighter because of less fuel. And I was able to go a lot faster. That's where I managed to set the fastest lap, the 54, I think it was. And generally, it's all about just consistency as well. If you can hammer in the laps within around, let's say, a tenth or 3, and then just keep doing that lap after lap, then you're gonna eventually be quicker than the rest. Because if you can keep it consistent and, of course, on the track without making any major errors, then overall you will be faster than someone that might make a mistake in the most crucial point.
All right.
I think that's really what it boils down to. Just consistency, keeping it smooth, and just focusing on just hammering in the laps.
Yeah. All right.
Try not to overthink too much about what's behind you, what's in front of you. Just focus on what's directly in front of you.
I think that's some pretty solid advice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
I mean,
that's all I think I'm probably gonna say.
Not like I'm gonna touch these cars again, but if there would be an end of world scenario where I would have to drive that car again, I'll take that advice.
Yeah. Well, it also will serve for others that might be watching
Yeah,
in case
that
they
too.
want to fancy having a go at these cars, or just any front-wheel drive car in general, or really any car in general.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think we'll have to wrap up here, gents. It's been absolutely awesome watching you race this season, Marcel. Again, congratulations on the championship. It's definitely well deserved, and I'm sure we shall see you next season in the Blue Civic once again. And I look forward to seeing you race then as well.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to see who can be the next potential challenger on the lineup.
Oh yes, whether it's Tasos or a new guy or maybe Penka. Maybe he'll come back from last season. We'll see. Any closing comments, Arthur?
Nope.
Right, cool. That's it. Round 10 of 10 of the Season 16 TCR Championship wraps up here at Barcelona today. Marcel Miku, your new TCR champion. He came close last season and he's finally managed it this season. Come back next season to see whether he defends his title or whether we'll get another new face on the top step of the podiums. But until then, we've got a couple weeks break. It is, of course, Christmas and New Year, so I'll just say it in advance. Happy Christmas, or Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Unfortunately, we won't be hosting any racing as such, as at least from the Tartus MX-5 and TCR side of things. And that pretty much then wraps up our 2025 experiences for those classes. So we shall see you again in 2026 for season 17, and we shall see you all there later. Have a good time. It's been Yanis, it's been Arthur, it's been Marcel Miku. We've also had Maverick popping in every now and then. This has been Phoenix Sim Sports and the TCR Championship here at Barcelona today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next time. Good night.